Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. You just acquired the 5-time champion Bulls, and then you immediately turned around and traded Michael Jordan to the Los Angeles Lakers to team up with Shaquille O'Neal, forming a killer duo and starting a new dynasty. And all you got in return was a bench player averaging less than 8 points per game, and the Spurs' first-round pick. This move shocked the entire league even more than the most outrageous trades ever seen. Everyone thought you had lost your mind. Even head coach Phil Jackson was so furious that he left for another team. But you didn't bother to explain much, because as a time traveler, this time you're not just the owner. You're planning to personally take over as coach, leading the Bulls to surpass the Celtics' 18 championships and build the greatest dynasty in NBA history. Right now, you're at home with your good buddy T-Mac, dreaming about your grand plans for the future. Suddenly, your assistant Shaolin calls in a panic. "Boss, security can't control the situation at all. I've already called the police." But there's still no sign of the local police. The tavern's outer glass walls are smashed, people are injured in the stampede, and some are shouting they'll set the place on fire. The scene is chaos. What should we do? Let them riot. Let them wreck the place. If they burn down the United Center, I'll just pay to rebuild a more luxurious one. This arena only has 21,000 seats, not enough for the excitement of the new season. On the other end, Shaolin is speechless and thinks, isn't the boss getting a bit too cocky? With this attitude, there's no way the new season's tickets won't sell out. Even slashing ticket prices probably wouldn't help. You'd already anticipated this riot by Chicago fans, and you know full well that arguing with this group of die-hard supporters is a waste of time. If they want to blow things out of proportion, let them. After all, the local police won't just ignore public property being destroyed. Only when the new season starts and I lead this brand new Bulls team to an unbelievable record will I be able to truly shut up all those critics. Besides, the United Center's facilities have been outdated for ages. Now that these radical fans have stirred things up, it's the perfect opportunity to go with the flow and rebuild. My NBA team deserves the league's most luxurious top-tier home arena. By nightfall, Chicago had mobilized over 1,000 police officers and finally managed to quell the Bulls fans' riot. Several of the armed ringleaders were local gang members, and the police have already confirmed that the United Center's exterior glass and seats were smashed to pieces, with one entrance even set completely ablaze. The chaos resulted in over 200 people being injured in the stampede, with more than a dozen seriously hurt and rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, all are now out of life-threatening danger. According to estimates from Chicago's local financial newspapers, the economic loss from this fan riot is at least $30 million. Thankfully, there were no fatalities. Early the next morning, Michael Jordan issued a public statement. He urged Chicago fans to remain calm. The riot at the United Center yesterday deeply saddened me, and I also bear some responsibility for it. Before the new owner traded me, he fully consulted with me, and it was my own choice to leave Chicago for Los Angeles. I want to thank Chicago fans for their years of support. You have always been my source of motivation. I love this city, and I love you even more. The glory I achieved in Chicago will always be with you. Jordan's public statement effectively soothed the anger of Chicago fans. After all, even though the basketball god had gone to the Lakers. But since you still hold shares in the Bulls, you can't just stand by and watch the team fall apart. As the situation eased a bit, that afternoon, you also officially appeared on Chicago's largest radio station for a live broadcast. Michael will always be the pride of this city, but Chicago needs a new king. The past was certainly glorious, but the future is even more exciting. I also want to thank those fans who caused trouble and helped me tear down the United Center. As the saying goes, out with the old, in with the new. I will join forces with the local government to invest in a complete renovation of the arena. The United Center will be transformed for the new season. It will become the grandest and most luxurious of all 29 arenas in the league. For fans wanting to return season tickets, the team will handle it uniformly. A smart owner never worries about selling tickets, only about not having enough to meet demand. Let me emphasize, the Chicago Bulls will not tank in the new season. My only goal is to win a three-peat. Your bold words on the radio quickly spread through Chicago, and Bulls fans across the US and the world were fired up. The championship roster is gone, and now you're counting on rookies to win 3 straight titles. This new owner really dares to dream. What's the point of a fancy arena? The United Center will be the coldest, emptiest home court next season. The Bulls want a championship. If they even make the playoffs, I'll castrate myself. But this new owner, maybe a rich fool, is so handsome it's almost unfair. The people upstairs must be classic fangirls. What's the use of being good looking? Can you eat good looks? Also, if your wife heard you, she'd beat you, you little punk. Hey, don't underestimate good looks. Sometimes they really can put food on the table. Anyway, I'm just here for the drama, and I'm a die-hard Jordan fan. Wherever he goes, that's the team I'll be a fan of. Just waiting for the new season's Lakers killer duo. What a beautiful sight that'll be. The championship this season has to go to my Lakers brothers. Let's shout the slogan. Lakers, champions. Cut to another scene. In a mountain villa near the University of Pennsylvania, in the western suburbs of Philadelphia, on the backyard's outdoor basketball court, a black teenager with an afro is gritting his teeth, furiously practicing three-point shots. Beads of sweat as big as beans are already covering his forehead, and his arms are so sore he can barely lift them. For 2 whole days, this young man has cut off all contact with the outside world, locking himself in the backyard, shooting threes day and night. By now, he's thrown a total of 29,000 shots. The reason? Simple. All because, in a crucial playoff game that ended in April, he missed 3 consecutive three-point shots, one of which was a ridiculous airball, ultimately causing the Los Angeles Lakers to be eliminated by the Utah Jazz. At the post-game press conference, the Lakers leader Shaquille O'Neal was so furious that he openly mocked him. "I really can't understand why management wouldn't trade him this summer. That guy's decision-making at the end of the game was just plain stupid." That's right, this young man is Kobe Bryant, and Philadelphia is his hometown. Facing a tidal wave of criticism from Lakers fans, Kobe chose to endure the humiliation and return home to train relentlessly. He firmly believed that he would be reborn in the new season. And just at that moment, the backyard door was pushed open, and in walked a beautiful black woman in her early 20s. It was Kobe's sister, Shia Bryant. "Kobe, your agent tell him has been looking for you for 2 days. I don't know if this news is good or bad for you, but you've been traded by the Lakers." Hearing his sister's words, Kobe's expression instantly froze, and his body couldn't help but tremble. His lips moved, but not a single word came out. Instead, he continued to shoot the basketball in his hands. Swish. What must come cannot be avoided. Swish, clang, swish, until he finished shooting his 30,000th three-pointer. Only then did Kobe, drenched in sweat, finally let out a long breath. He turned and walked toward his sister. "Shia, where was I traded to?" His sister, who had been standing there for a full half hour, shook her head and sighed. Her little brother was always this stubborn. "The Chicago Bulls." The moment he heard the words, Chicago Bulls, a strange light instantly flashed in Kobe's eyes. He had been a fan of the Bulls and Jordan since he was a kid, and he had always dreamed of playing in Chicago. "I've been traded to the Bulls? That means I'm going to team up with Michael, that old guy." Actually, Kobe wasn't that interested in teaming up with Jordan. He wanted more to face Jordan as a rival. But his sister shook her head. "No, Michael has already been traded to the Lakers." "What?" Kobe's expression changed, and he became uncharacteristically excited. "You mean the new Bulls owner actually traded Michael Jordan to get me?" He became a trade chip. What a kindred spirit. "Looks like I, Bryant, have finally found someone who appreciates my worth." Seeing her brother's blind confidence, his sister Shea could only give an awkward smile. Well, you could probably look at it that way. Seeing how happy her brother was, as his older sister, Landa really couldn't bear to dampen his spirits by telling him that the Bulls mainly traded Jordan because they wanted the Spurs' first-round pick. The young and inexperienced Kobe didn't dig into the details of the trade. Just thinking about swapping teams with the god of basketball instantly ignited a fierce fighting spirit in his eyes. "Chicago, here comes the little flying warrior. Los Angeles, you'll regret your decision sooner or later." With the blockbuster trade that sent Jordan away in exchange for the Spurs' first-round pick and Kobe, the Bulls' official announcement of their rebuilding plan began to move forward rapidly and decisively. On June 23rd, the Chicago Bulls and the Portland Trail Blazers finalized another deal. The Bulls sent 7-time rebounding champion Dennis Rodman and swingman Ron Harper to the Blazers in exchange for the fierce Rasheed Wallace and Jermaine O'Neal. This trade, negotiated by assistant Shaolin, left you quite satisfied, being able to acquire both young powerhouse big men, O'Neal and Rasheed Wallace, in one go. With Ben Wallace and Tim Duncan added to the mix, the Bulls' paint defense in the new season will definitely strike fear into the entire league. Even if the big diesel Shaquille O'Neal charges in, he'll have to pay a price. In your view, every team needs 1 or 2 enforcers. If a conflict breaks out during a game, they're the bodyguards and enforcers. Both Big Ben and the fierce Rasheed Wallace are not to be messed with. They'll never let their teammates get the short end of the stick. Remember the infamous Malice at the Palace brawl? Big Ben was the one who put the beast, Ron Artest, in his place. With these 2 tough guys holding down the fort, who would dare mess with the Bulls next season? On June 24th, just 1 day before the 1997 NBA draft, the Bulls made another move. They traded away their championship starting center, Luke Longley, and in return from the Hornets, they got three-point sharpshooter Del Curry, plus a first-round pick in the 1998 draft. With this, the Bulls bench for the new season now features 2 elite shooters, Steve Kerr and Del Curry. They're also the only veterans on the team, so they'll be responsible for mentoring the rookies and passing on some on-court experience. Del Curry is 33, right in the prime of his career, and his eldest son, Stephen Curry, just turned 9 this year. You've already started making plans in your mind. When Del Curry and Steve Kerr retire from the Bulls in a few years, they can stay on as assistant coaches for you, or shine in the front office. And in another 10 years, young Curry will be 19 and ready to enter the league. After a few trades, the Bulls roster for the new season is looking more and more impressive. In the backcourt, there's Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Ray Allen, Steve Kerr, and Del Curry. On the wings and in the paint, there's Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Jermaine O'Neal. Plus, with Tim Duncan and Tracy McGrady about to be picked up in the draft, the team already has 10 major players. 2/3 of the 15-man roster spots are already filled. Of course, the most crucial step right now is to make sure you can secure both Duncan and McGrady in the draft. On June 25th, the annual draft officially kicked off at Madison Square Garden in New York. You, accompanied by your personal assistant Shaolin and your close friend, and McGrady's bodyguard Ben Wallace, flew straight to New York to attend the 1997 NBA draft in person. Although the overall quality of this rookie class can't compare to the golden generation of '96 at this draft, there is still no shortage of prodigies. Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University is undoubtedly the brightest star among them, and he has basically locked in the #1 pick for the '97 draft. Besides Duncan, players like Chauncey Billups, Tony Batty, and Tracy McGrady have also been invited into the green room, all solid lottery picks. In total, 80 rookies are participating in this draft, and they will compete for those precious 58 spots as the 29 teams take turns making their selections. All 19,000 seats in Madison Square Garden are packed, and soon it is 7 o'clock in the evening. The thrilling draft event has finally begun. Accompanied by the future commissioner Adam Silver, League Commissioner David Stern walked to the center of the stage. He waited for the boos from the audience to gradually die down before loudly announcing into the microphone, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1997 NBA Draft. Today, our NBA family will welcome a brand new group of talented individuals." After David Stern smoothly finished his opening remarks, waves of applause erupted from the audience. The draft is the NBA's biggest event after the finals, so tonight, the general managers, head coaches, and star players from each team are all present. They all came to the venue to witness the draft in person. Before the draft began, a live lottery was held. At that time, the NBA draft lottery was not yet held a month in advance. Instead, results were revealed live at the draft event. The 13 teams that missed the playoffs last season participated in the lottery, in reverse order of their records, while the other 16 teams were arranged from worst to best by record. In theory, all 13 lottery teams had a chance at the #1 pick. It was just a matter of probability. The 1996-97 regular season, the team with the worst record was the Vancouver Grizzlies, who only managed 14 wins and 68 losses. The Grizzlies' rising star, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, went up on stage to be the first to draw for his team. Down below, the Grizzlies' general manager and head coach were visibly excited, clasping their hands together, hoping that Abdur-Rahim could draw the #1 pick for the team. Abdur-Rahim was an all-around forward, who in his rookie season averaged 18.7 points and 6.9 rebounds per game, and was named to the all-rookie first team. For the Grizzlies, if they could land the #1 pick this year and select the talented power forward Tim Duncan, then a front-court pairing of Duncan and Abdur-Rahim would absolutely help this young Vancouver Grizzlies team take off in no time. They could even shake up the entire league landscape. With a 25% chance, the highest odds, for the #1 pick, the Grizzlies had every reason to believe in their luck. But only you know in your heart that the Vancouver Grizzlies are destined to leave disappointed today. At this moment, Tim Duncan, sitting in the green room, was staring intently with his big, clear eyes fixed on the Grizzlies' lottery result. At 21, he looked young and honest, but inside he was frantically complaining. "Oh my God, please don't let the Grizzlies get the #1 pick. I really don't want to go play basketball in Vancouver, Canada, in the middle of nowhere. It's cold enough there to freeze you to death." Finally, Sharif Abdur-Rahim's lottery result was announced. It was the 4th pick. You smiled slightly and nodded. Everything was already under control. Watching the Vancouver Grizzlies general manager and head coach pounding their chests in frustration, almost on the verge of tears. In the green room, Duncan pumped his fist in excitement, having perfectly avoided that godforsaken place, Vancouver. Next up, whether it was the Celtics, Bulls, or 76ers, they were all major cities in the East. No matter who picked him with the #1 pick, he could accept it. The second person to take the stage was Boston Celtics star player Antoine Walker, nicknamed Fat Buddha. Later, he and Paul Pierce would form a dynamic duo. He led the Celtics back to the playoffs, Sitting courtside, Celtics general manager and legendary coach Red Auerbach was leisurely smoking a cigar, his expression inscrutable. If you say the Grizzlies' 1468 record was due to lack of ability, then the Celtics' 1567 was blatant tanking. Last year, this Red Auerbach led the team in tanking, hoping to land Iverson, but only ended up with an awkward 6th pick. This year, he was back with a vengeance, determined to get the number 1 pick and bring the once-in-a-century talent, Duncan, into the fold. After all, compared to Iverson, Duncan fit the Celtics' tough, iron-blooded style even better. However, Antoine Walker's lottery draw didn't bring any surprises to Boston fans either. He only got the 3rd pick. Auerbach's face instantly aged several years, and he started to wonder if he really should retire early. But even more intense than Auerbach was Spurs head coach Greg Popovich. At this moment, his face had gone pale. Both the Grizzlies and the Celtics had perfectly missed out on the number 1 pick. Could it really be that the top pick was about to fall into the Spurs' lap? Popovich instinctively glanced sideways. Not far away, the new Bulls owner's breathing had become rapid. The 3rd person to go up on stage was the Spurs leader, one of the league's 4 great centers, the Admiral, David Robinson. Among all the players drawing lots tonight, he was definitely the biggest name. After all, the vast majority of MVP-level superstars have already led their teams to the playoffs. If it weren't for David Robinson being out for the entire previous season, the Spurs could never have ended up with such a terrible 20-62 record. But Robinson knew exactly what was going on. He was actually drawing this pick on behalf of the Bulls. So he kept praying silently in his heart, "Please, don't let me draw the number 1 pick."